Hello viewers and my dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Zahida Begum, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Government Degree College, Hayatnagar. As a part of today's session, we all are born free. We all have our own thoughts and ideas. We should all be treated in the same way. These rights belongs to everybody, whatever our differences. So now I am going to discuss a topic on human rights. First, I will go to a definition of human rights given by United Nations. Human rights are universal, legal guarantees protecting individuals and groups against actions which interfere with fundamental freedoms and human dignity. When we go to the depth of this definition, it means human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, whatever our nationality, place of residence, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. We are all equally entitled to our human rights. Without discrimination, these rights are all interrelated, interdependent, and indivisible. Okay, it means human beings are rational beings. Human beings are rational beings. They, by virtue of their being human, possess certain basic and inalienable rights which are commonly known as human rights. Human rights are defined as all those rights which are essential for the protection and maintenance of dignity of individuals and create conditions in which every human being can develop his personality to the fullest extent may be termed as human rights. Human rights are also sometimes referred to as fundamental rights, basic rights, inherent rights, women rights, natural rights, and birth rights. So the World Conference on Human Rights held in 1993 Vienna stated in the declaration that all human rights derive from dignity and worth inherent in the human person, and that the human person is the central subject of human rights and fundamental rights. The UDHR is a non-binding declaration adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, partly in response to the barbarism of Second World War. The UDHR urges member states to promote a number of human, civil, economic, social rights, asserting these rights are part of the foundation of freedom, justice, peace in the world. The declaration was the first international legal effort to limit the behavior of states and press upon them duties to their citizens following the model of the rights duty duality. So, development of the human rights. Religious ideas, the Hindu, the Bible, the Quran, and the Analects of Confucius address questions of people's duties, rights, and responsibilities. The Code of Hammurabi, Inca, and Aztec codes of conduct and justice. Meanwhile, early Sanskrit writings in Indian society means being early Sanskrit writing in Indian, responsibility of rulers for the welfare of people. None should be allowed to suffer either because of poverty or any deliberate actions on the part of others. And one more, Chinese sage Mencius wrote on the human nature. Humans are fundamentally good, but goodness needs to be nurtured. 16th century Hindu philosopher Chaitanya stated that there is only one caste humanity. And also Greek philosopher, according to Greek philosophers, equal respect for all citizens. So written documents asserting individual rights, most effectively the Magna Carta 1215 is the constitution of rights. The 1215 Magna Carta is a royal charter of rights agreed by King John of England on 15th June 1215. So Magna Carta drafted by Longton to make peace between the unpopular King John and a group of rebel barons. Any fundamental constitution or law guaranteeing rights and liberties, it is one of the most important documents in history, as it established the principle that everyone is subject to the law, even the king, and guarantees the rights of individuals, the right to justice, and the right to a fair trial. So next one, the English Bill of Rights is a landmark act in the constitutional law of England that sets out certain basic civil rights and clarifies who would be next to inherit to crown. So the next one is French Declaration on the Human Rights. Inspired by the Enlightenment, the Declaration of the Rights of Man of the Citizen was an attempt to create equality among the social classes in France. And the next development is the US Bill of Rights comprises the first 10 amendments to the US Constitution. Specific guarantees of personal freedoms and rights, clear limitation on the government power in judicial. And next one, a series of international treaties concluded 1864 and 1949 Geneva Conventions for the purpose of alleviating the effects of war on soldiers and civilians. It defines the basis on which rest the rules of international law for the protection of the victims. In 1947, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi uses non-violent protests from India to independence. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was drafted by the UN Commission on Human Rights chaired by then First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted by the 56 member nations. Now the member nations are 198. So 56 member nations of the United Nations General Assembly on December 10th, 1948. December 10th is celebrated around the world as International Human Rights Day. So these are all our human rights: life, freedom, security, human treatment, equal protection of law, rest and leisure, social security, take part in government, freedom of thought, conscience and religion, marry and starts family, be presumed innocent until proven guilty, work for a just wage, free choice of employment, just conditions at work, join a trade union, protection of privacy, family, correspondence and reputation, asylum from persecution, for asylum from prosecution, education, a nationality, participate in cultural life, freedom of opinion and expression. So the Universal Declaration contains 30 articles. It enumerates the basic principles of human rights in a most comprehensive manner. Out of 30 articles, while 21 articles enumerated civil and political rights, 6 articles cover economic and social rights. So the human rights combined as nothing but combined as CPR plus ESCR, means CPR means civil and political rights, ESCR means economic, social and cultural rights. So the combination of civil and political rights and economic, social and cultural rights is nothing but human rights. So as you see, human rights in a nutshell belong to everyone. They can't be taken away from marginalized individuals, are about the relationship between the state and individuals, provide a floor, not a ceiling, of basic standards below which the state must not fall and which it must protect or fulfill. So key principles of whole human rights are fairness, respect, equality, dignity. So we categorize 7 substantive rights as right to life, right to a fair trial, freedom of speech, freedom from slavery, freedom from torture, freedom of thought, conscience and religion, freedom of movement. So first one is right to life. The right to life is the essential right that a human being has the right not to be killed by any another human being. The concept of a right to life is central to debate on the issues of abortion, capital punishment, euthanasia, self-defense and war. So second one, right to a fair trial. Everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligations and of any criminal charge against him. Third one, freedom of speech. The freedom to speak freely without censorship. The term freedom of expression is sometimes used synonymously, but includes any act of seeking, receiving and imparting information or ideas regardless of the medium used. Next one, freedom from torture. Torture has been used as a method of political re-education, interrogation, punishment and coercion. Next one, freedom from slavery. No one shall be held a slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. Next one, freedom of thought, conscience and religion. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief and freedom either alone or in community with others and in public or private to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practicing, worship and observance. Next one, freedom of movement. It asserts that a citizen of a state in which that citizen is present has the liberty to travel, reside in and or work in any part of the state where one pleases within the limits of respect for the liberty and rights of others, and to leave that state and return at any time. Some of the articles human rights are reflected in our Indian Constitution, especially the part of fundamental rights. So as a human right, protection of life and personal liberty, it reflects the article 21 of fundamental rights in Indian Constitution as No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. And another human right, freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. It reflects fundamental right article 25(10), subject to public order, morality and health, and to the provisions to this part, all persons are equally entitled to the freedom of conscience and right freely to profess, practice and propagate religion. And next human right, protection of interests of minorities. It reflected article 29(1) in fundamental rights of Indian constitution as any section of the citizens residing in the territory or any part thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. Next human right, rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. It reflects that article 31 in fundamental rights of Indian constitution stated that all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. And next human rights, right to constitutional remedies. It implies the article 32(1), the soul of the fundamental rights in Indian constitution, stated that the right to move to Supreme Court by appropriate proceedings for the enforcement of rights conferred by this part is guaranteed. Note, by this part refers to part 3, fundamental rights. We move on the next most important part of the human rights are women rights. Human rights gives immense importance to the women rights and as well as child rights. So the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, it is called CEDAW. It is to protect the women and children rights. The right of women to be free from discrimination and sets the core principles to protect this right. CEDAW is the only human treaty that affirms the reproductive rights of women. The convention has been ratified by 180 states. Some of the denial of women's basic human rights are pregnancy and childbirth related causes, HIV infections, gender based violence, skills, illiteracy, wages, discriminatory laws. So, progress has been made in some areas. Many of the challenges and obstacles identified in 1995 still remain. In addition, the new challenges for women empowerment and gender equality that have emerged over the past decade. Anyone can stand up for the rights of women. So, present scenario in modern time, there are more than presently human rights categorized different rights like women rights, minority rights, child rights, environmental rights, disability rights, consumer rights, labor rights. These called three generation rights. One, civil rights, it's individual; social rights, it's individual, but human rights, it's combined rights. So in modern times, human rights is the one of the such rights which has the conferred to individuals by the states in the modern international law. The modern perspective to human rights is reflected in the Vienna Declaration 1993, adopted by the World Conference on Human Rights. The declaration categorically states that all human rights are universal, invisible, and interdependent. and interrelated, and the democracy, development, and respect for human rights are fundamental freedoms, are interdependent and mutually reinforcing. The conference reaffirmed the right to development as universal, inalienable right and an integral part of fundamental human rights. The legal process in the universality of human rights effectively commenced with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948 UDHR. Adoption of the UN Charter in the aftermath of Second World War can rightly be considered as a landmark in the journey towards universal acceptance of human rights. Though a long process of evolution, modern human rights jurisprudence has crystallized into three basic principles: the principles of universal inherence. Every human being has certain rights capable of being enumerated and defined, which are not conferred on him by any ruler, nor earned or acquired by purchase, but which inhere in him by virtue of his humanity alone. Second one, the principles of alienability. No human being can be deprived of any of those rights by the acts of any ruler or even by his own act, or in a democracy even by the will of majority of sovereign people. Third one, the rule of law. Where rights conflicts with each other, the conflicts must be resolved by the consistent, independent and impartial application of just laws in accordance with the just procedures. An individual can seek human rights only in an organized community, that is state, or in other words, whether the civil social order exists. Thus the principle of protection of human rights is derived from the concept of man as a person and his relationship with an organized society, which cannot be separated from universal human nature. Human rights being essential for all round development of the personality of the individuals in the society, be necessarily protected and be made available in all the individuals. They must be preserved, cherished and defended. If peace and prosperity are to be achieved, human rights are the very essence of meaningful life, and maintain human dignity is the ultimate purpose of the government. The legal effect of the declaration is the universal declaration set for the international community as common standard of achievement recognized the inherent dignity and the equal inalienable rights of all people in all the nations. It is the duty of the states, regardless of their social, political, economic systems, to promote and protect human rights. The Universal Declaration was not intended to be legally binding, and therefore it did not impose any legal obligations to the states to give effect to its provisions. In other words, from the legal point of view, the declaration was only recommendation and not strictly binding on the states. The declaration addresses right to all people and all nations, whether they are members of the United Nations or not. The main object of the declaration was to present the idea of human rights and freedoms in order to inspire everybody to work for their progressive realization. The message conveyed is one of hope, equality, liberation and empowerment. International humanitarian law is a branch of international law which provides protection to human rights or human beings from the consequences of armed conflicts. Humanitarian law deals with those matters which have an impact of armed conflicts on the life, personal integrity and liberty of human beings. Thus, humanitarian law may be referred to that body of law which defines those principles and rules which limit the use of violence in times of war. These rules are inspired by principles of humanity, and they are meant to avoid human sufferings and brutality in armed conflicts. However, those rules of war which are based on humanitarian considerations or motivations are called humanitarian law. International humanitarian law has much in common with the law of human rights, since both is concerned with the protection of the individual. Nevertheless, there are important differences between two. First differences is that international humanitarian law is applied during the time of armed conflicts, whereas the law of human rights is applied in peacetime. The second difference is that the state which become a party to a human rights treaty assumes an obligation to treat all persons within the jurisdiction in accordance with the provisions of the treaty. Humanitarian law is primarily made up of treaties, agreements between states intended to have binding legal effects between the parties that have agreed to them, and are binding only between states which are legal effects or which are to those treaties. International humanitarian law applies to all armed conflicts, that is, international armed conflicts as well as non-international armed conflicts. International conflicts may mean an armed clash between two or more states, whereas non-international armed conflicts which take place in territory of a state between its armed forces. Example, civil or included non-international civil war included in non-international armed conflicts. The efforts of the creation of the international organizations in order to establish peace were being made even when the World War II was progress. May declaration adopted by the conference laid down the importance of human rights. The Declaration of United Nations signed on January 1, 1942 at Washington was the first document which used the term human rights. Thus, human rights become a matter of international concern, and with the end of the World War II and the founding the United Nations. Since then, international human rights law has been developing in an unprecedented way and has become a very substantial part of international law as a whole. Although there is no global government as such as protect human rights, it is being protected by the various bodies of the United Nations and the intergovernmental organizations such as international organizations to protect human rights. Example, UNDP, United Nations Development Program, UNHCR about child rights, UNHC for refugees, International Labour Organization and UNESCO. Protection of human rights by regional organizations also, NHRC, National Human Rights Council, and next one, State Human Rights Council or Commission. So basically NGOs play a vital role to promote human rights. For example, NGOs like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Red Cross, Anti-Slavery International, Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, World Social Forum. So, promotion and protection of human rights by the United Nations. The prime responsibility for the promotion of human rights under the UN Charter rests in the General Assembly, in the Economic and Social Council, and its subsidiary bodies, that is, Council of Human Rights. The term protection of human rights, which may mean implemented and enforcement action, does not find place in the UN Charter. When human rights violations assume massive dimensions, the General Assembly and other organs of the UN can initiate discussion and action. Among the United Nations agencies, only the Security Council and the International Court of Justice can engage in enforcement action. Only they have a competence to pass a binding resolution, to issue a binding judgment. Enforcement is thus the authoritative applications of human rights. The United Nations in the past has been able to promote, to protect human rights by certain way, which are follows. Number 1, human rights consciousness. Number 2, codification of the law of human rights. Human rights consciousness, nothing but the first and the foremost important which is the human rights has played is that it has made the people and the states conscious about the human rights and fundamental freedoms. The second one, codification of the law of human rights, means the United Nations has codified the different rights and freedoms by the making treaties for all sections of the people, such as women, child, workers, refugees, etc. So, the Council on Human Rights is the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, a principal organ to the United Nations, was most directly concerned with the question of human rights. The Council, under Article 68 of the UN Charter, was empowered to set up commissions for the promotion of human rights, and such as other commissions may be required for the performance of its functions. The Council may also meet annually in Geneva for 6 weeks beginning in March. The Common may also meet between annual sessions to deal with urgent human rights situations. The Council, as determined by the terms of reference, was directed to prepare recommendations and reports to the items just like on International Bill of Rights, international declarations and conventions on civil liberties, the status of women, freedom of information, the protection of minorities, and like the prevention of discrimination on grounds of race, language and religious. So, these Walter, Martin Luther King, Thomas Jefferson, Ambedkar, Gandhi and Nelson Mandela, known about for human rights. They are promoted and protected human rights. According to Nelson Mandela, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. The rights of, according to John F. Kennedy, US President, the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. So, for example, if a case study of Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani school girl known for her activism for rights to education and for women, especially in the Swat Valley, where the Taliban had at times banned girls from attending school. After the United Nations Special Envoy for Global Education, Gordon Brown, launched a UN petition which helped lead to the ratification of Pakistani first right to education bill. So, human rights are more than values, behaviors that we think other countries don't hold or implement. So we often claim they don't have values, human rights as well as we do. So as my concluded part, presently there is a wider spread acceptance of the importance of human rights in the international structure. However, one will not hesitate to admit that there is a confusion prevailing as to its precise nature and the scope and the mode of international law as to the protection of these rights. One valuable lesson that the history of human rights teaches us is that they are not static but are developed in the response to the new modes of political thought and change in the international environment. So this is all about human rights. Thank you. We will discuss next topic in our